Whilst we certainly have things looking fairly thread-like on our geometry now, we still have a bit of work to do in order for the topology to both flow correctly and also be ready to work with the OpenSubdiv modifier. Indeed, coming to the top of our object, we need, as noted in the previous exercise, to fix the flattening that we can see near the start of the thread. Doing this is actually quite simple, in that all we need to do is select the Cut tool from the Edit panel on the Ribbon UI, and from the top vertex sitting at the end of our thread here, making certain that our cursor does change and so indicate that we are over a vertex, simply click to start a cut operation, taking that all the way across to where the spiral actually starts again, bypassing the flattened edge altogether. Now this hasn't quite given us the correct angle of descent for these new edges, and so let's select the new vertex sitting in the middle of them. In the Edge panel on the ribbon, engage the Constrain to Edge option, and then after enabling the Move tool using the W key, move this down until things look to flow more evenly. Now we do have a bunch of triangular polygons that have been created here, which again are not really a big problem on this type of object, but it is good to get into the habit of turning these into quads whenever possible, time permitting that is. And so, seeing as the fixes here are quite simple, let's grab the Target Weld tool from the Vertices panel, select the vertex that has all of these edges running into it, which is generally speaking a bad thing to have anyway, and then target weld that to the vertex that we've just repositioned. This leaves us just a single edge with which to deal, and so after jumping into Edge Subobject mode, let's select this, and then in the Edit Vertices rollout in the Command panel, click the Remove button. We do have another set of tries sitting at the very end of our thread that is the portion that blends back into the body here, and so let's select the edge there, and again use the Remove button. And there we are, all the tries are gone, leaving us only quads with which to work. Well, almost. We do of course have a couple of 5-sided n-gons here that I would prefer to deal with before adding an OpenSubdiv modifier to the mesh. Now this is really just a matter of modelling pride, as in this instance these won't actually affect the final smoothing in any adverse way at all. Still, best practices are best practices, and so, in Vertex Subobject mode, let's settle for adding a couple of tries here by first of all selecting the vertex at the bottom of our diamond shape, and we can then select the bottom right vertex on our n-gon, and hit the Connect button in the Loops panel on the ribbon. That same fix can also be applied to the top n-gon, this time taking the Connect to the top right corner. After which, we are left with just 2 quads and 2 tries. To finish things up here, I would like to blend the vertex at the tip of the thread back into the body of the screw a little more. You can see at this moment in time that we have quite an abrupt termination. And so, let's select the vertex at the tip, make sure that the Constrain to Edge option is engaged in the Edit panel, and slide it back a little in the x-axis in order to keep the slope of our spiral intact. And then, after disengaging the Constrain tool, push back a little way in Y, just until we are happy with how things are looking. Which of course means that we're ready to move on to our next exercise and set up both the crease sets and OpenSubdiv modifiers that we will need to add in order to finish this particular piece off.